Let's take a look and see how to build a comprehensive budget quickly and painlessly using HITMark. Here we've got a list of projects. We're going to focus in on the outpatient tower down here at the bottom. We'll notice that the information that's configured here about the project is general information that a facilities project manager will have available to him. So things like the name of the project, the overall budget, who the project manager is, the facilities type, square footage, stuff like that. Once all that information is put in, you have pretty much what you need to get started on building the estimates. Down below, we see that we've got a number of estimates, but we also have milestones and reports. The facilities manager is also going to have a project schedule that shows key deliverables like programming, schematic design, all the way down through the go live section. But we're not going to jump in there yet. And then we've got reports. So let's go back to estimates. So we've got different types of estimates here. Actually, we've got 4 different estimates, 3 of which are locked, and 1 that's available for us to work on. You'll notice that the estimates can be duplicated, renamed, or deleted, which is extremely helpful as far as saving time when trying to iterate on estimates and being able to start with something that's already been configured. All right, there's 2 primary categories of information getting budgeted from a healthcare technology perspective: the infrastructure and the applications. So let's take a look. And the first thing that we see are the list of rooms that are going to be part of this estimate. The facilities manager is going to have typically what's called a program sheet. And on that sheet are the list of room types along with the quantities of rooms and seats that go along with each one of those. The facilities manager would typically just start with the pick list here on the left, which is pre-populated and part of HITMark, and then configure these based on his needs for this project. When that's been done, we've got a list of the different room types that we saw earlier, and we can see the information as far as what goes in each one of them. So if we were to look at, say, this LINAC vault, we can see that there's a bunch of information here in black, that because these items in black are all information technology. The red is either what we would refer to as biomed or medical equipment. So all of these have been accounted in this way. Once all of these things are reviewed by a technology or a biomed person to make sure these are configured right, that person might say that we've got to maybe change the configuration on some of these things. Maybe we want to add maybe a 12 strand of fiber to this particular room. And then we realize, well, since we've got 12 rooms, we need to change the quantity on that. And once I'm done with that, now I'm ready to start running the reports for infrastructure. But before we do that, let's take a look at the applications part of this. So for applications, we see that the facility type kicked out in red what the default applications are that are required for an ambulatory MOB. The items here in gray, say like behavioral health, could be added because sometimes you might have some of these type of programs that are part of the ambulatory MOB that are not in the default. Every application has a set of work streams, and each single work stream has labor that goes with it. Some of it's department or operations type labor, and the rest of it's IT. And that's important because we've accounted for all of the operational costs and calculations that have to be accounted for. It's not enough to simply install a bunch of new equipment. Things like trainers, business analysts, project managers on the operations and clinical side have been accounted for. When this is done, we can run reports on both infrastructure and reports. So let's do that. So we've got our ROM estimate, and let's look at the infrastructure summary. The first thing we'll notice is how it's organized. We've got the CapEx and OpEx, and we've got each category listed and all of the things that are not specific technology items, things like tax, shipping, contingency, management reserve. It adds up, right? So if you look at the 22 million before these things get added in versus the 48 million after it's added in, it's important to have those things accounted for so you don't have to go back and ask for money because it wasn't planned for. We've got a number of different reports. Let's take a look at what goes in each room, which can be used for different types of planning, including when you're getting ready to pay a bill. So if you want to take a look and make sure that the things on that invoice are installed, you can go back and maybe unpack that invoice a little easier by taking a look at the specific things in each room that must be there before that particular invoice gets paid. We've got very similar information as far as the application labor. And the application labor is broken down, again, by application type, by work stream, and by specific labor type. So in green, we see the different application types, blue are the work streams, and black are the specific phases. So we can drill down and take a look at how these things consolidate and make it easy to see where are we spending the money, how much per application by work stream, et cetera, is going where. And that's pretty much how simple it is. I hope this was helpful. Looking forward to see you in the future.